Yeah, hi everyone, Mr. Markwick here. In today's video, I'm going to show you 6 key features of a parabola. And this will probably be the first thing you're asked to look at and identify when you start your parabola's topic. The first feature we're going to look at is concavity, and this one's pretty easy. So parabolas can either be concave up, opening up, just like this one on the left, or concave down, so opening down like this one on the right. Okay, it's pretty straightforward and easy to identify. Next thing I'm going to show you is the intercepts. And I'm going to start with the y-intercepts because they're a little bit easier, because there will always be only ever one y-intercept when we are looking at a parabola. It'll only ever pass once through that y-axis. So yeah, that's right. Where this parabola, in each case it's the purple curved line, crosses the y-axis, okay, or that blue vertical line. And when you're giving your y-intercept, give it as a set of coordinates. So give it the x and then the y value. And with your y-intercept, your x value will always be 0. So 0 and then whatever that y value is. Okay, in this case, it's probably something like -3 or 4. Okay, but be specific. Now, the next feature I'm going to look at, and you'll be asked to identify, is the X Intercept or X Intercepts. And this is a little bit trickier because there's 3 parabolas there and each is different in terms of the number of X Intercepts it has. This first example in the top left has 2 X Intercepts. It passes through that X-axis, the blue horizontal line, at 2 points. Okay. The second example, top right, there is only 1 X Intercept. It just touches that X-axis or that horizontal blue line. And the third example you can see down there, there's no X-intercepts. So if you're asked to identify an X-intercept and there isn't one, you simply write no X-intercept. If there's 2, then you need to give 2 sets of coordinates. And if there's 1, then you need to give 1 set of coordinates. And again, when you are giving your coordinates, it'll be the X value followed by the Y value. And you'll notice for the X-intercept that, again, rather than the X value being 0, it'll be a value, and the Y value will be 0. Okay, so they're the next 2 things that you'll be asked to identify: the y-intercept and x-intercepts. The next thing, the fourth thing I'm going to just touch on, is the vertex. Now, the word vertex is interchangeable sometimes with the turning point, so that people might refer to it as the vertex or the turning point. Now, the vertex or turning point is where that parabola begins to turn around. Okay, so you can see in both of these examples, there's a little dot at that point. Okay, this one on the left, the first example, is said to have a minimum turning point. Actually, let's get rid of that line. I want to highlight that. A minimum turning point, because the vertex is the minimum point on the y-axis. Okay. The one on the right-hand side has a maximum turning point because the turning point or vertex is the maximum value on the y-axis for this parabola. Okay. Now, notice that also this kind of relates to the concavity as well. So if it's concave up, it will have a minimum turning point. If it's concave down, like the one on the top right, it will have a maximum turning point, like the one on the bottom right. Okay. The other thing that you'll be asked to identify is the actual coordinates of that vertex. So if you're asked to determine what the vertex of a parabola is, again, give it as a set of coordinates with the x and y value. Okay, so that was the fourth and fifth thing. And the final thing, the sixth thing you'll probably be asked to identify, is the axis of symmetry. So a line about which the parabola is symmetrical. All parabolas are symmetrical. Okay, so if you cut them in half, there'd be the same amount on the right-hand side as there is on the left-hand side. Or you could fold it in, and yeah, it'd lie over the top of itself. So the axis of symmetry is that imaginary line that if we did cut that parabola in half, okay, the imaginary line, if we did cut it in half, where would that imaginary line pass through the x-axis? Okay, at what value of the x-axis would that imaginary line pass through? This is saying that this one will pass through x equals 2, and that's how you write your axis of symmetry. X equals whatever that x value is. Okay. One thing that's also prevalent here is that this is the coordinates of the vertex, 2, 1, x value 2, y value 1. The axis of symmetry will always be the same value as the x value in your vertex. Okay, so that's something to remember as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a parabola I've got over here, and we're just going to work through those 6 key features. Alright, first of all, looking at this parabola I've got here, is this concave up or concave down? That's right, concave up. Next thing we're going to work out is our y-intercept, so just shorthand here, y-intercept. There it is there, where that line's crossing the y-axis, and that is at the coordinates 0, 3. Next thing is you have to determine the x-intercepts, or x-intercepts. In this case, there's actually 2 intercepts, so there's one there, there's one there. So I'm going to give 2 sets of coordinates. The first one, so this point here, is 1, 0, and the second point there is 3, 0. Okay, now we know because it's concave up, it also has a maximum turning point. The vertex, or the coordinates of the vertex, so this is the vertex here, the very bottom in this case, is at coordinates -1, and sorry, -1 off the y-axis and 2 off the x, but if we're doing it as a set of coordinates, it would be 2, -1. And the final thing is the axis of symmetry. So if we were to cut that line in half, where would it pass through? Where would that line pass through? The x, there it is, it's passing through at +2. So axis of symmetry, x equals 2. And remember, that value is always going to be the same as that first value, or the x value in your vertex. So there you have it, guys. Really quick video just to show you the key features of a parabola and how to determine them, or how to work them out with an example. Thanks for watching.